And now, a word of faith with Bishop Haran. In the footsteps of Abraham.
The same God of Abraham is here today. Abraham is not. He died at the age of 175. He died. But the same God who appeared to him is here until today. He is the same. He has never changed.
And Bishop, if he's here today, then he wants to do the same things that he did in the life of Abraham, in the life of people today. Because Abraham is dead, but you are living, I'm living. So he wants to show that power today in our life, Bishop.
Twice a year, in the middle of the year, and also at the end, we go to the Holy Land, to the Promised Land. But why Promised Land?
Bishop, we go to the Promised Land because there is where significant biblical events took place. This is where Jesus, he turned water into wine. He raised the dead. This is where fire came from heaven. Bishop, many miracles happened there in the Promised Land.
Well, there are many places that the people visit
Yes,
around the world.
Yes, Bishop.
Right? They go to Times Square, they go to Niagara Falls, to many places.
Right, yes, sir.
However, we are not going to Israel, to Jerusalem, to know another place.
No.
We go there in the footsteps of Abraham. He left Haran to Canaan, to the Promised Land. And there God made him great. And we believe that God wants to make this person great as well.
Yes, Bishop. Haran is a place of a new beginning, a journey. And
The starting point.
The starting point for a new life, a new journey. And God wants to give this person that's watching a new journey and a new life, Bishop.
How far would you go to have a new life? How far would you go to start afresh? Abraham left Haran to Canaan. Let me show now full screen. You are going to understand better what we are talking about. He left Haran and now see the way Canaan is, the Promised Land. Israel is. But imagine now if he had stayed there. If he had disobeyed God and if he had stayed there in Haran.
Bishop, what's funny is that image they see is Haran today. It's still like that today. So meaning, if he never left, his life would have stayed in ruins until the day he died, Bishop.
My friend, you have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. The Lord wants, and he is going to bless your life. This lady, Miss Angela, she came to us and she heard the voice of God. She obeyed the calling in the same way Abraham did obey. She did the campaign of Israel. She made her sacrifice, the vow of sacrifice. See now what the Lord did in her life.
Obedience. Faith.
Was the door that made Abraham.
Courage. Sacrifice. Campaign of Israel at the gate of Haran.
I come from a third-generation single mother, and that is something that my family suffered with. In one way, it was like I felt that my mother raised me on her own, therefore I didn't need anybody to help me raise my child. My mom was alone forever, always, and so if she could do it, I could do it. Of course, I was in some relationships when I was young, and I tried, but they were very unfruitful. They were very toxic. My grandmother was divorced. My mother was divorced, and I was alone. We lived a really, really bad life. My mother and I lived together with my daughter. We fought all the time. Our life was hell. We had no money to eat. We would eat samples at the grocery stores, or it was ramen noodle all the way. In Houston, we had no money to pay the electricity. 90 degrees, 100 degrees outside, and we were spending weeks without electricity at home. And that's where I found myself. Again, I didn't have steady work. We were really broken. We were broke financially. God spoke to me and he said, what I want you to sacrifice is I want you in the middle of summer, this was a July campaign, to go out to the parks and sell popsicles. And whatever you make, that will be your sacrifice. One of the things that I hate the most is heat. And living in Houston, that's very funny, because how did the devil oppress us? We didn't have electricity to have air conditioning in the middle of the summer. We would have to run a cable to the street light so we could have a fan in our house. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. First of all, I'm a little shy when it comes to speaking to people, and I had to walk up to people, just random people, asking them if they wanted to, to buy whatever, the popsicles I was selling. So that was me having to break through one of my walls and having to fight just the physical aspect of getting out of my house and going to these parks in the heat of the day, in the middle of Houston summer, twice a day. I made a point that I would go out twice a day. When it was time to give, I had finished my sacrifice. I was happy that I had built something, and I was happy to fulfill it. I soon learned that what I thought was me being strong by being alone was wrong. I learned that God wants us to be with somebody. He wants us to share our lives with one person, and that we are not meant to be alone. Within a year of me turning in the sacrifice at the altar, I was married in the same altar. We've been married for 3 years, and our marriage is insanely great. I never could have imagined that things could be this well. My husband and I, we don't fight. And we look at each other and we actually comment this. How is it possible that we never fight? Only God can do this. I was bitter. I was hurting. And I had no faith in men. But when I put my faith in God, He healed me. And He washed me. He built me up. And He brought me my gift. Another thing in the mysteries of God that is very intriguing is my husband and I opened a snow cone business together. We bought a shaved ice trailer. So out of this relationship that was born from me selling popsicles in the park, now we both together go and sell snow cones in parks and all kinds of, festivities. Besides that, we also opened up a trucking business. And where I thought that the snow cone business would really bless our lives, snow cone business money is crumbs compared to the money in trucking. And actually our first month of business, we invoiced $25,000. My experience with the Campaign of Israel was, first, hearing the voice of God. Second, following through with it. And third, just reaping the rewards of listening and being obedient to God. I am in a place in my life where I never thought I could be. And only God knows where He took me from. The Campaign of Israel works.
Campaign of Israel at the Gate of Haran.
You still have time to partake of this campaign. Bishops and pastors will go to the gates of Haran to cry out for you. You are going to request this envelope. You still have a chance to do so. Or you can take any regular envelope, write your request, make your vow of sacrifice. The same God who blessed Miss Angelica is the one that is going to bless you. You are going to partake of this campaign. And now, from July to December, in 6 months, God will work step by step in your life.
How do you participate of the Campaign of Israel? First, make the decision of putting an end to your problems through faith. Second, write down on paper your prayer request, determining that God will make happen in your life everything you wrote down. Third, send your prayer request together with your vow of sacrifice. You can make a check or money order under the name of the Universal Church and mail it to 7075 Southwest Freeway, Houston, Texas, 77074. For more information, you can call us at 1-888-691-2291.